And basically, we had this thing called the Pass It On project, and it was started by my friend Brian Day. He came up with the idea to have a project where, at the same time, everybody sat around this virtual table, comes up with an idea. So it could be a lyric, it could be a sound, it could be a guitar part, it could be a keyboard part, it could be a drum loop, whatever. So right at the same time, everybody comes up with an idea, all in alphabetical order. So you can imagine we're all sat in alphabetical order. And then we put the idea down, and then in alphabetical order, we pass it on to the next person.
Amazing.
It all kind of goes around like a. And so we called it, initially it was called the COVID-19 Pass It On project. Yes, very creative. Very, very creative. And so, because there's so many of us, so each person passed this thing on, and then we'd get, obviously, I'd get what someone's passed on to me, and then you add something to it and then pass it on. Yeah. When you add something to the next thing and you pass it on. Yeah. Until the idea is that it all eventually comes back round, each track or each idea comes back round to the originator. Okay. We never hear what anyone's done.
Okay.
Until you get it back.
It's like an anonymous collaboration, but then obviously
pretty much
when it gets to the end, the cycle is now back in its.
And then there's like a grand reveal at the end. It's like, oh wow, so that's kind of the premise of it, and it's a bit of fun. It's a laugh. It was something to do. People were clapping for the NHS on Thursday evenings, or people were doing virtual pub quizzes. We were doing this Pass It On project.
Excellent.
And as it's gone on, we kind of dip in. When you have, you get a bit of momentum, and then naturally the momentum falls down a bit, and then it comes back again. And when it falls down, just it ebbs and flows like life, And then we started that, I would say, probably in April, just as it got into the nitty-gritty of the first lockdown. And because of this behemoth, this huge gargantuan thing, we were like thinking of names. We need to call it something. And all these names came out. And one of the songs that somebody's done is called Size of a Planet. Right. And I was like, wow, that'd be a good name for the band, for the project, because we are literally the size of a planet, because there's so many of us. And so, we kind of made an executive decision literally this week, Mike, when you said, you wanted to do this interview. I needed to give it a name. So I was like, right then, I'm making an executive decision, Size of a Planet.
It's a good name.
I think it's a great name.
It's solid.
I think it's a great name. And it's almost like, albeit it's a lockdown project, and we're dealing with the things that are happening while we're locked down, obviously the COVID thing. But we're trying not to be too literal about it. Do you know what I mean? And talking more, subject matter being about isolation and what you're doing with that isolation and how it makes you feel and what the consequences are for each person and what it's the effects that it's having on your mental health or emotionally and all those things. And I have to say we've got as you can imagine, there were one or two duds on there, but there are some great songs on there as well. I can't imagine
everyone was a hit, but this particular one is. I tell you what really stood out for me on this is the strings. I love the strings on this.
The strings are beautiful. So I think that's Nicola Farnan. I think that's Nicola Farnan on that.
Wow.
Yeah,
brilliant.
So people involved in it are people like Nicola Farnan, me, Brian Day. Right. John Trier, who plays keys with Hawley, Cy Stafford,
right? Yeah.
Jodie Wildgoose, Rob Cohen,
great.
People like that group itself. It's Hugh Oblong. Yeah, it's a proper melting pot of talent and different kind of artists who play different kinds of things.
Great.
And we're all just putting our little pen in because we're all a bunch of mates. Just trying to get through the day.
That's what music is all about, isn't it? I mean, collaborating and having fun with it and doing something really kind of just experimental like this. You know, I really appreciate it and I love it, to be honest. And it's a great.
It's completely experimental. And this was the song that I sent you, Cough and Splutter. That was started by Alex Henderson, and we have all these kind of mad titles and different kind of titles, and I think that one in particular, it's got most of us on it. I mean, some tracks don't have all of us on it. But,
yeah, sure.
That was one of the ones that had most of us on it. So Jodie's on it, I'm on it, Nicola's on it, Rob Cohen's on. You know, Rob Skeet's playing his saxophone. You know, it's got that kind of jazzy. This mix which Sean Perry, Kiko Sean Perry, he did this mix with like a jazzy kind of loungy, laid back kind of vibe on it.
Yeah, I made some notes when I first heard it, and I called it a bit of twisted soul funk in a jazz concoction.
That's exactly it.
It kind of feels like it just feels like that to me. I mean, clearly a nod to the current pandemic with the lyrics running through it with track and trace and stuff.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Should we play it?
Play it.
Okay. So this is the absolutely brilliant Cough and Splutter by Size of a Planet, aka Soap.
Yeah. Check out my rubbish rap at the end.
This is Sheffield Live.
That's true. Think I can still fucking make it you. Can't forget about it.
where you're going, gotta know where you come from. It's not just a tickle in your lungs, but that's one song. Time to confess, I never found mess. So cough it up, fam, yeah, get it off your chest.